Hello guys and welcome back to Dylan's Little Hobbies. In today's video we are going to be talking about X-Wing Mancers. Indeed, we are going to be talking about each of the 7 factions and which faction might be right for you. Oh boy, let me tell you, if you are a Star Wars fan but you aren't into X-Wing Mancers, you really should get into X-Wing Mancers. I mean, come on, aren't the ships amazing? And with 7 different factions, a whole bunch of different ships to choose from, there's gotta be at least one ship that you really like, and you gotta get an X-Wing Mancers. Come on, that's how you can truly get into the game. But with that said, each and every single faction plays different, and I know the same game, right? That they are all the same ships basically. They all move the same way, have similar abilities. What's the real difference between of the factions other than this is the good guys and that's the bad guys? Well, actually, when you get into gameplay, there is actually a lot of differences between the way you want to set up and play each and every faction in this game. And with that said, doesn't mean I'm telling you that you have to play this faction if you like playing this certain way. No, it's just that certain ways to play each faction, it makes it easier. And I mean, if you're playing one faction, it's different than the way I explain it. That doesn't mean that that's the wrong way to play it. To play it the way you like. The strategies that I'm about to tell you with each faction might help you improve your gameplay when it comes to X-Wing Miniatures. And it's just something fun to discuss and talk about. With that said, there's 7 different factions. All you have to do is choose your favorite faction. Better yet, all you have to do is choose your favorite ship and start playing X-Wing Miniatures. That's the best way to get into this game. Now, I am, of course, wearing my Mandalorian shirt, so let's do Scum and Villainy first. So, the Scum and Villainy. At this time, the Mandalorian is not a part of X-Wing Miniatures. I hope that they come out with the Mandalorian ships in X-Wing Miniatures. I cannot wait for that. That's going to be really cool. Maybe by the time you see this video, we have a whole bunch of really cool Scum and Villainy, Mandalorian, X-Wing stuff. That would be really fun. But with that said, Scum and Villainy. How to play with the Scum and Villainy field. You know, just from... I've only played a couple of games in Scum and Villainy in this game. I'm not going to say I'm the best at it, but Scum and Villainy, the way I tend to set them up and the way that I tend to have my luck whenever I do try a Scum and Villainy game, I tend to look at each ship as kind of their own tank. You gotta kind of set up each ship as if they're their own tank. They're not going to be helping other ships. A lot of their abilities and a lot of their ship skills as well as upgrades tend to focus around the idea of them being every man for themselves, every ship for themselves. Like, they want to fight alone. They want to be out there. They don't want to be working together in a crew. They want to be out alone in space with as much firepower as possible. That's how most of these Scum and Villainy ships play. Now, that isn't to say all of them are like that, just the majority of them. Mostly, you will notice that most of these Scum and Villainy ships are indeed medium bases, and medium bases are actually the hardest base to fly with. And the medium bases don't really work well together with any ships, you know. So it just makes sense because the Scum and Villainy, they don't care. They're scum, they're villainy. They're the ones who got the job. They're the ones who are in it for themselves. That's kind of mentality you gotta think of when you think of X-Wing Miniatures Scum and Villainy. At least that is my strategy whenever I play the Scum and Villainy faction. I tend to build each ship as in a little tank. I don't generally, like, there are some cards that say some Scum and Villainy abilities that do support friendly Scum and Villainy ships, but not a lot of them. So it's better just to set them out, guns blazing. Alright, and that's my thoughts on Scum and Villainy. Let's go ahead and talk about the Rebels. So, the Rebels are quite different. They're the exact opposite of Scum and Villainy. They actually help each other out. They actually have a lot of abilities that improve either chances or improve tokens. Like some of them will give their focus tokens to friends if they don't need it, and that will of course help you defeat your enemies. Like say you're against an opponent and you don't have a shot, but you have a focus token. You don't need the focus token, but your friendly ship does. Well, then they have many abilities like that where they can help their friends and work together as a team. So the best way to put the Rebels in is to think about how all of these ships tend to work together as a puzzle. The great thing about Rebel ships that I find is that they're actually, for the most part, very durable too. If they're not durable, then they're very fast, and fast-moving ships could dodge out of harm's way. So they're not worried about going toe-to-toe with a TIE fighter. They can go straight on, and even if they're going straight down the gun barrel of 3 TIE fighters, well, they have usually come with a lot of good shields, like the TIE fighter or the Falcon, for God's sakes. They have a lot of shields, so even if the enemy gets hits on you, they won't be able to take you out, and that will give you the ability to take all of them out. Because if the enemy's only firing like 2 dice, like you're against 2 TIE fighters, 3 TIE fighters, if they're only throwing 2 dice, and you got 3, possibly even 4, depending on whether you're using missiles or not, if you got 4 dice against that one little ship that only has like 2 lives, yeah, chances are you're going to take it out like that. So the Rebels have a lot of abilities that are like that help each other out, and don't worry about going guns blazing head to toe with any of the enemy ships. And that's something you kind of gotta think about, because they do have a lot of shields. Now with that said, let's go ahead and talk about the Empire. The Empire does have a lot of ships that actually improve each other's chances, improve each other's dice abilities, but the mentality really is quality is not acceptable. They like quantity. That's why a lot of their ships tend to be cheap, and why, while yes, they do have many abilities that improve each other's chances, a lot of the times they don't have super powerful ships. Because when they do fly super powerful ships like TIE Advances or the TIE Defenders, they typically have abilities that just improve the pilot's own power and not necessarily the team. That's just something I've noticed with the Imperial. They are going for quality. They're going for quantity, not quality. Whereas the Rebel forces are going for quality instead of quantity. So it's just an interesting different way of playing. Now, what about the Resistance and the First Order? They play very much like the Rebels and the Empire. The one difference I will say about the Rebel forces is the Rebel forces tend to have faster and more improved ships. What I really like, and this isn't all of the ships, but what I really like about the T-70 X-Wing, for example, is their boost actions. They have bigger, stronger, more powerful engines. Why? Because the technology has been improved, and a lot of their upgrades have been improved upon as well. They have many upgrades and many abilities that supports the team even more than the rebels do, which is great because they're actually a smaller army than even the rebels were. So it's just great. It works in gameplay. Now, as for the First Order is a lot like the Empire, except unlike the First Order, who are always going after quantity, they have learned that quality does work. And while they don't really have necessary quality pilots, they have quality ships. The TIE SF, for example, it's a TIE fighter with a turret. It's not really that a lot of points, actually. And, I mean, this, with a couple of TIE fighters behind you, yeah, you're going to actually be able to protect and maybe go guns blazing and take out one of the Rebels' forces, or the Resistance if you're playing against the Resistance. They have a lot faster, stronger engines and more protection, as well as actual abilities that improve upon each other's ships. Not necessarily the pilots again, but improve on each other's ships, and that's a lot of fun. Now, the Separatists and the Republic. I really, really want... I'm going to have to, at some point, make a separate video and talk about these two factions. But the problem is, while yes, I have played quite a few games with the Republic, and I'm really enjoying Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan's teamwork, I can't comment on the Republic that much, just because there's a certain way of playing them that I feel, just like the other factions, that I haven't gotten down just yet. And the Separatists, I love the Separatists. I love the look of the ships. I grew up with those ships, watching the Clone Wars. I love the Empire too. You know, I'm a big original Star Wars fan. The Empire, Rebels is awesome. Empire, fantastic. I really like the ship models for the newer movies, but they're just not there for me in terms of the story. But the Republic and the Separatists in the Clone Wars, awesome. But every time I've ever played a Separatist game, when I'm using the Separatist faction, I've lost every single game. Every single game I've ever played using the Separatist ships, I've lost. So I can't comment on how to improve those factions yet, because I haven't gotten the mentality I need for that. And you know, it's really hard. To be honest with you, I was stuck playing the Rebels against my dad for so long because my dad really liked the Empire. But then he found the First Order just works for him, the way he plays the ships. He loves the Empire, but the First Order really works for him. And so he really likes the First Order. And I have played a couple games with the First Order, but my dad's really good at it. Whereas I find, even though I was really good with the Rebels, I find the Empire works best for me. And the Empire is my favorite faction as well. Now, I really enjoy the Republic. I really enjoy the Separatists, but I'm just not there yet. I haven't played enough games. I haven't... it hasn't clicked with me which way to move the ship. So maybe down in the comments below, let me know if there's any tricks of the trade that you use your ships to work together. And one more thing to make note of before I wrap up this video though. Yeah, so I have this series called X-Wing Managers How to Fly. In that series I like to talk about how to fly certain specific ships, but I've done pretty much every single ship I specifically know how to fly, and there's a lot of ships in this game, and simply put, even though I play with a lot of these ships, I don't know every single ship. I mean, I need to know enough of the ship to know which strategy works for certain ships to actually make the video. And I've pretty much done that with all of the ships that I do know. So here's the thing. I of course want to make more videos on specific ships, but let me know down in the comments below, what ship specifically do you guys want to know more about? What ship specifically do you guys want an X-Wing Manager's How to Fly from me? Because in terms of my X-Wing collection, I mean, I have 94 ships at this point, but I only know how to truly fly about maybe a third of them. So that leaves a long list of ships to fly that I don't know how to fly yet, and I want to know if there's a ship that you think I should focus on more to make a video about. Thank you guys for watching, and I am out. So let me know down in the comments below if this video helps you out. If you using these ships, each faction having a specific strategy base, helps you guys or not. And if it doesn't, what strategies do help you in the game? I would like to know, because of course I want to improve upon in my gameplay as well, because I ain't perfect. It's a fun game, but I'm learning just as you guys are, and I'm having tons of fun with it. Let me know down in the comments below, how do you guys build your strategies up for X-Wing Managers? Thank you guys for watching, and I am out.